Greetings, Earthlings, and happy holidays. Which brings me to the topic that's pretty timely, shopping. My blog post at crazyoldgringo.mx, that's crazyoldgringo.mx, discusses my own struggles with buying things on impulse and what I try to do to stop this behavior. Much of the blog post discusses the video Buy Now, the Shopping Conspiracy, which deals with Amazon's tactics, but really are pervasive in all media, including social such as Facebook. A few years back, Congress addressed subliminal suggestions in media, which is the messages or ideas that are processed below the level of conscious awareness, influencing thoughts, feelings, or actions. Now, social scientists are working for big brands and are refining their tactics, and the following podcast discusses them and ideas on how to get away from the outside influences. I hope you enjoy it. On with the show.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think is really relevant to all of us, especially around the holidays.
Oh, definitely.
And that is the idea of breaking free from consumerism.
Yeah.
So whether you are, getting ready for a discussion with your family or friends about, how much you're all spending, or whether you're just trying to learn a little bit more about yourself and your own spending habits, or even if you're just kind of curious about, this whole consumerism thing, we're really going to try to take a deep dive into the why and the how of why we buy what we buy.
It's definitely a big question,
It is a big question.
And with all the advertising out there and online shopping, it's everywhere.
It is, and it can be kind of overwhelming.
It really can.
So to help us navigate this a little bit, we're going to be looking at a blog post today called Breaking Free from Consumerism, Insights from Buy Now by Crazy Old Gringo.
Okay.
And we're also going to be looking at this documentary called Buy Now, the Shopping Conspiracy. And I think both of these offer some really interesting perspectives on how consumerism works.
I think what's interesting about both of them is how they show that, the choices that we make maybe aren't as free as we think they are.
Right.
We all like to think that we're in control.
Yeah.
But there's this whole other thing happening that's kind of influencing us.
Definitely. And I think that's what makes this such a good topic for a deep dive.
Absolutely.
So let's start off by talking about this Buy Now documentary.
Okay.
It really does pull back the curtain on a lot of the psychological tactics that are used by retailers to get us to spend money.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those magic shows where they show you how the trick is done.
Right. Right, exactly.
Except in this case, the trick is making us want to open our wallets.
Yeah. And, one thing that really surprised me in that documentary was the planograms.
What are those?
They're literally maps that they use
Right.
that say where everything goes on a shelf in a store.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just random.
I always thought it was...
No, it's super carefully thought out to make the most money.
Oh, so we're like pawns on a chessboard being moved around.
Kind of, yeah. For example, they'll put milk at the very back of the store.
Uh-huh.
So you have to walk past all the tempting stuff to get to it.
Oh, so that's why milk is always at the back of the store.
Yeah, or they'll put the most expensive brands at eye level, so you see it first.
Okay, so it's all about subtle manipulation.
Exactly. It's steering you towards certain purchases. Think about the last time you went to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Did you really need that thing that you got by the checkout?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I'm thinking about my last trip now, and
Right?
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So the documentary goes into that, but it also goes into how advertisers use our emotions to sell us things.
Right.
It's not just about the product itself, but it's about making you feel like if you have this product,
right,
you'll be happier or more successful or you'll belong.
Right, those perfume ads.
Yes.
They say they'll make you irresistible.
Totally.
Those car commercials.
Yeah.
They want you to think driving a certain car means you're free.
Oh, yeah.
Adventurous.
Yeah.
It's all very aspirational.
Totally aspirational.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Crazy Old Gringo calls miswanting.
Yeah.
In his blog post, he talks about that.
Yeah.
And he talks about how advertisers basically create this illusion that we need certain things to be happy or successful.
Yeah.
Even though those feelings are fleeting.
They really are. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But that's true.
He also talks about this class he took
Oh, yeah.
called The Science of Well-Being
Mm-hmm.
that really opened his eyes to
Right.
You know, how quickly we adapt to new things.
But like, you get that new phone, and then a week later,
It's not new anymore.
it's just your phone.
Yeah, and you need the new phone.
Exactly. And then you're just kind of stuck always wanting more.
Yeah.
It's like a treadmill you can't get off.
It's true.
Yeah.
And he uses this analogy in the blog post
Oh, yeah. What was it?
where he compares it to eating sugary snacks.
Okay.
You know, like it feels good in the moment, but then you just want more and more and more, and it's not really like nourishing you.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Like, it's that instant gratification,
Yeah.
but no lasting satisfaction.
Right.
Yeah.
And this cycle that we're talking about is made even worse because of branding and celebrity endorsements.
Oh, for sure.
Like we're constantly bombarded with images and messages that like make us associate certain brands with,
Right.
you know, like certain lifestyles or qualities.
It's like you see a celebrity with something,
Uh-huh.
and you think, oh, if it's good enough for them,
I should have that.
it must be good enough for me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much power those brands and those celebrities have.
I know, it's true.
Like I never even really thought about it before,
But
but now I'm seeing it everywhere.
like, even think about the logos,
Yeah.
the colors of your favorite brands.
Yeah.
They're not random. They're designed to make you feel a certain way.
Wow. This is getting really deep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got all these marketing tactics.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, we have easy access to credit cards and loans,
Oh, yeah.
which just fuels impulsive buying
Definitely.
and can lead to a cycle of debt.
Yeah, that's another thing that the Buy Now documentary highlights really well.
It does.
Like how easy it is to just get a credit card
yeah.
or financing,
It's not just buy now.
and then you end up buying things that you can't really afford.
Right, and then you're stuck paying it off.
Exactly.
It's like those buy now, pay later things. It
Yeah.
seems so easy.
Yeah, it seems so convenient,
At the time.
but then later on,
Oh.
it's not so fun.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And it's not just a problem for individuals.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You know, if everybody's buying things they don't need and going into debt,
Yeah.
it affects the whole economy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we've painted kind of a bleak picture here,
Maybe a little.
but there is hope, right? Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, what are some things we can do?
Lots of things.
Okay, because I'm feeling a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Okay, so Crazy Old Gringo in his blog post,
Yeah.
he has some solutions.
Okay.
And I actually really liked his tip about online shopping.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
He says that when he's shopping online, he puts things in his cart,
Uh-huh.
but he doesn't buy them right away.
Oh, interesting.
He waits
Like how long?
like a while,
Okay.
like a few days or even a week.
Yeah.
He just lets them sit there.
Okay.
And then he decides if he really wants them.
Oh, that's smart.
I know, I thought it was such a good idea.
Yeah, it's like you're putting that space
Yeah.
between wanting it and actually getting it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he actually even said that he deleted the Amazon app off his phone,
Oh, wow.
which I thought was like genius.
It's like he's protecting himself
Yeah.
from temptation.
From himself.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of us could probably benefit from.
So that's one thing, resisting those impulse buys.
Right.
But both the documentary and the blog post really emphasize that we need to learn how to distinguish between
Needs and wants.
needs and wants.
Yeah.
Like before we even think about buying something,
Right.
we should ask ourselves,
Do I need this
do we need
or do I just want it?
Right.
And I think a lot of people get those two mixed up.
I think I do.
It's easy to do.
I think I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you see all that advertising
Yeah.
telling you need things.
Like I need that new jacket.
Right. Even though you have like 10 jackets already.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it's all about being mindful, right?
Yeah. Mindfulness is so important.
Yeah, like paying attention to your thoughts and your feelings
Uh-huh.
and noticing those like triggers that make you want to spend money
Yeah.
and then making choices that are like, you know, aligned with your values.
Exactly. Like thinking about what's really important to you and making sure your spending reflects that.
Yeah, and Crazy Old Gringo, he suggests a couple of practical things.
Like what?
Like shopping with a list.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, I never do that.
It really helps.
And he also says, like, to be aware of your emotional triggers. Like, when you're feeling a certain way, are you more likely to shop?
That's so true.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely noticed that in myself.
Me too. Like, if I'm stressed out or if I'm, like, feeling down or something.
It's like you're looking for a quick fix.
Yeah, or a distraction.
Right.
Yeah,
Retail therapy.
that's what they call it.
It's a thing.
So are there any other things that we can do?
Well, I think recognizing those emotional triggers
Yeah.
is a good first step.
Okay.
And then you can try to find other ways
Yeah.
to deal with those feelings
Yeah.
that don't involve shopping.
Like what?
Like maybe going for a walk
No,
or calling a friend
yeah.
or doing something creative.
Something that actually makes you feel good.
Yeah, something that actually nourishes you
Right.
instead of just that temporary fix.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's about shifting our focus
Yeah.
from consuming things to like actually engaging in activities that make us feel good.
Exactly.
So it's not just about buying less,
Right.
but it's about like living more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finding those things that truly bring you joy
Yeah.
and fulfillment.
And both the documentary and the blog post talk about embracing minimalism
Okay.
as a way to break free from consumerism,
Yeah.
which I think is a pretty radical idea
It can seem that way.
in our society where we're like
Especially now.
told to buy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that even look like?
Well, I think it's about simplifying your life,
Okay.
like decluttering your home
Okay.
and your mind.
Getting rid of things you don't need.
Exactly, like letting go of the things that aren't serving you
Okay.
and making space for experiences
Yeah.
and relationships and personal growth.
I love that.
Yeah, it's not about deprivation. It's about being intentional
Yeah.
with what you surround yourself with.
So like quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having fewer things,
Okay.
but things that you really love
Yeah.
and that add value to your life.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking a lot about how consumerism really shapes our lives and how we don't always realize it.
Right.
And it can feel a little overwhelming, to be honest.
I know it. Yeah.
It kind of feels like we're swimming upstream.
Yeah, against a really strong current.
Exactly. But I am feeling optimistic.
Me too.
Okay, good.
It's good that we're talking about it.
Yeah. Awareness is the first step.
Right, exactly.
So let's keep talking about some strategies
Okay.
for dealing with this, because in the last part, we were discussing crazy old Gringo's idea of like deleting the Amazon app from his phone as like a way to keep himself from shopping.
Right. It's like a self-imposed barrier.
Yeah, like I need to protect myself from myself.
From the temptation?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that idea can be extended beyond just apps, right?
It totally can.
Like what about unsubscribing from email lists?
Oh, yeah, all those tempting sales and promotions.
Yeah, or like being more careful about who you follow on social media.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
Because it's like you're curating your digital environment to be less consumerist.
Right. It's about taking back control of your attention.
Yeah, instead of letting all the algorithms and marketers decide what you see.
Exactly. You get to decide what you want to see.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you're taking back control of your attention. And another way to take back control is to use a budget.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not the most exciting topic.
It's not the most glamorous.
No, but
it's important.
it is super important.
Yeah. And I used to think of budgeting as like really restrictive.
Yeah.
But now I see it more as like empowering.
Okay, I like that.
You know, because you're making conscious choices about how you're spending your money.
Right. You're in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
You're telling your money where to go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Instead of the other way around.
I like that.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be complicated, you know?
Yeah, how do you do it?
Well, I like to track my spending for a month
Okay.
just to see where everything's going.
Oh, so you can see like where it's all going?
Yeah. And then I try to set some like realistic spending limits
Okay.
for different categories.
For like food and entertainment.
Yeah, like groceries,
Yeah.
entertainment clothes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all about awareness, like knowing where your money's going.
Yeah.
So you can make better decisions.
Right. And there are even apps now
Oh, yeah.
that can help you with that.
I think I need to look into those.
Yeah, they can be really helpful.
Okay, so we've got our budget. We're curating our digital environment. But what about those like psychological tricks that retailers use
Oh, yeah.
that we were talking about?
Those are neat.
The Buy Now documentary
Yeah.
really like opened my eyes to a lot of that.
Yeah. There are some clever tactics out there.
Okay, so what are some of them?
Well, one thing they do is they try to create a sense of urgency
Okay.
or scarcity.
Okay, so like
Like those limited time offers.
yeah,
Or flash sales.
or like that countdown timer.
Yeah.
That gets me every time.
It gets everybody.
Like, oh, I gotta buy it now.
Right. You feel like you're going to miss out.
Exactly.
Big FOMO.
Yeah, okay, so that's one.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
What?
A lot of those deals aren't even that good.
Oh.
Like if you actually do some research,
Oh.
you could probably find the same thing for a similar price.
Really?
Yeah. Or the sale price isn't really much of a discount.
So it's all just like marketing.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's all about creating that sense of urgency
Oh, wow.
to get you to buy.
So it's about pausing
Yeah.
and asking myself, do I really need this?
Right. Exactly.
And is this a real deal or am I being tricked?
Am I being manipulated?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good question.
I think I'm being manipulated a lot.
Probably more than you realize.
Probably. Okay. Yeah.
What else do they do?
Well, Another tactic is social proof.
Okay.
Like they'll show you how many people have bought something
Okay.
or how many 5-star reviews it has.
Well, yeah, those reviews.
Yeah, because we're social creatures.
Uh-huh.
We tend to follow the crowd.
So if everyone else is buying it,
It must be good.
right, it must be good.
That's the thinking.
But is that always true?
Not always.
Okay.
Just because something's popular.
Doesn't mean it's the best.
Exactly.
Okay, so I need to be more skeptical
Yeah. A little healthy skepticism is always good.
of those reviews and those
Yeah, when it comes to marketing.
bestseller lists and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it's about being aware of my own thought process
Right.
before I actually act.
Yeah, being mindful of those impulses.
Okay,
And questioning them before you act on them.
so it's all about mindfulness.
Mindfulness is key.
Okay, and that makes me think about what Crazy Old Gringo said in his blog post.
What was it? He was talking about how like happiness and fulfillment don't really come from the things that we buy.
That's so true.
Right.
Yeah, it's a simple idea, but it's easy to forget.
Yeah. I think we all forget that.
Yeah, especially in our culture.
Yeah, because we're just surrounded by
So much stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if happiness doesn't come from things,
Where does it come from?
I guess like experiences,
Experiences, yeah.
relationships,
Relationships.
like actually living life.
Right, actually doing things.
Yeah,
Things that money can't buy.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and both the documentary and the blog post also talked about mindful consumption.
Okay.
So it's not just about like buying less,
Right.
but it's also about buying better.
Buying better. Yeah, being more intentional.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
So mindful consumption is all about thinking about what you're buying
Okay,
and why you're buying it.
like what are my motivations?
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you buying it because you really need it?
Uh-huh.
Or because you saw an ad for it? Or because it's on sale?
Or because I'm feeling some kind of way.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Or are you buying it because it aligns with your values?
Okay.
Like, is it an ethical company?
Oh, like, is it environmentally friendly?
Yeah. Is it sustainable?
Okay.
Are they treating their workers fairly?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, those are all important things to consider.
So it's about, like, voting with your dollars.
Exactly. Every purchase you make is a vote.
That's powerful.
It is, yeah.
So it's not just about saving money or decluttering your house,
Right.
but it's about actually making choices
Yeah.
that are good for the planet.
Right. Making the world a better place.
Okay. I like that, but where do I even begin?
Well, it can feel overwhelming,
Yeah.
but you don't have to do everything at once.
Okay.
You can start small.
Okay. Like what?
Well, maybe you could try buying locally sourced produce,
All right.
or choosing products that have less packaging,
Yeah.
or supporting companies that are committed to fair labor practices.
Okay.
There are lots of small changes you can make.
Those sound doable.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not just about what we buy, right?
Right.
It's also about how we use and dispose of things.
That's a really important part.
So like repairing things.
Yeah, instead of just throwing them away.
And recycling.
Yeah, recycling compost.
Yeah, like thinking about where our trash is going.
Right, exactly.
Oh, wow. So this is about a lot more than just shopping.
It really is.
It's about our relationship with stuff.
Yeah, and our impact on the world.
Wow.
It's a big topic.
It is a big topic.
It was an important one.
Okay. And it's also about finding a balance, right?
Yeah, it's not about deprivation.
Okay.
It's not about never buying anything again.
Okay.
It's about finding a balance
Okay.
between enjoying things
Yeah.
and not being controlled by them.
I like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of enjoying things,
Yeah.
we've been talking about prioritizing experiences
Yes.
over possessions.
Right.
And I think that that's like a really important part of this whole
It
conversation.
really is.
So how do we actually make that shift?
Well, it starts with a simple question.
Okay, what's that?
What truly brings you joy?
Okay.
Is it that new gadget?
Uh-huh.
Or is it spending time with loved ones?
Okay.
Is it traveling to new places,
Excellent.
learning a new skill, pursuing a passion?
Okay, so it's about figuring out what makes me feel good.
Yeah, what lights you up?
What lights me up?
What makes you feel alive?
Yeah, and then making choices that support those things.
Exactly, yeah. Putting your money where your heart is.
Okay, but how do we even hear our own inner voice?
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Because there's so much noise out there.
Like all those ads.
All the ads, all the social media.
Yeah, telling us what we should want.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we tune out that noise?
Well, I think it takes conscious effort.
Okay.
Like you have to create space for reflection.
Okay.
Disconnect from the digital world sometimes.
Okay.
Spend time in nature.
Okay.
Connect with your own values.
So it's like a whole lifestyle shift.
It really is.
It's not just about shopping.
It's about how you live your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're talking about finding like a deeper sense of purpose
Exactly.
and meaning.
Yeah, finding what really matters to you
Okay.
and living in alignment with that.
And I think that's a good place to stop for today.
Yeah, that's a good stopping point.
Okay. Welcome back to the Dip Dive. I gotta say, my head is spinning a little bit thinking about all this stuff about consumerism.
A lot to process, for sure.
It is, but in a good way. Like, I feel like I'm actually learning some really useful things.
That's great. Yeah, that's the goal.
It is the goal.
Yeah.
So let's keep going because we were talking about prioritizing experiences over material possessions.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It is, and I'm really interested in this.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, where do I even start?
A good question.
Like, how do I actually make that shift?
Well, one practical thing you could try is to look at your calendar
Okay.
and actually schedule in some experiences.
Like, actually write it down.
Yeah, like make an appointment with yourself.
For fun. So it could be like a weekend hike.
Yeah, a hike, a concert, a museum,
a
a cooking class.
cooking class, anything.
Anything that sounds fun and exciting
Yeah.
and that you've been wanting to do.
Okay, so I'm making a commitment
Yeah, you're prioritizing it.
to myself.
Yeah, just like you would prioritize a doctor's appointment
I like that.
or a work meeting.
Okay.
You're making time for the things that are important to you.
Okay, so I'm scheduling it in.
Uh-huh.
But then what about like the money part?
Oh, yeah, the financial piece.
Because experiences can be expensive.
They can be.
Yeah.
But you can actually plan for that, too.
Oh, okay. How?
You can set aside a certain amount of money each month,
Okay.
specifically for experiences.
Oh, so it's like part of my budget.
Yeah, like a line item in your budget.
Okay. For
And
experience.
for joy,
Oh, I like that.
for things that make you feel alive.
Yeah, instead of just spending it on stuff.
Right, exactly. Because stuff doesn't really bring lasting happiness.
It's true. I'm realizing that more and more.
It's a good realization to have.
Yeah, so as I'm prioritizing experiences, maybe I'll just naturally want less stuff.
That's usually what happens.
That's kind of how I'm feeling already.
Good. It's like you're filling that void
Yeah,
with something more meaningful.
more meaningful. Okay.
Yeah.
But what about those times when like the urge to buy is really strong?
Oh, yeah. We all have those moments.
How do I resist
That's tough.
those temptations?
But there are some strategies.
Okay, what's one?
Well, one that I like is the 30-day rule.
The 30-day rule. Okay, tell me about it.
So basically, whenever you feel like you really want to buy something,
Uh-huh.
that's not essential.
Okay.
You just wait 30 days
Okay.
before you buy it.
30 days.
Yeah, you
Okay.
just put it off,
Okay.
give yourself some time to cool down.
So it's like creating that space.
Yeah, that space between the desire
Uh-huh.
and the actual purchase.
And maybe after 30 days, I won't even want it.
Exactly. That's often what happens.
Okay, so I'm giving myself that time.
Uh-huh.
And during that time, can I like ask myself some questions?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like, ask yourself,
Okay.
do I really need this?
Do I really need this?
Will it actually make my life better?
Will it make my life better?
Is there a more sustainable option?
Oh, yeah. Is there a more eco-friendly option?
Yeah, right.
Can I afford this without going into debt?
Yeah, those are all great questions to ask yourself.
Okay, so it's like I'm becoming a detective.
Yeah, your inner detective.
Investigating my own desires.
Yeah, figuring out what's really driving that urge to buy.
I like that.
Yeah, it could be really insightful.
Okay, so we've talked about the 30-day rule.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about prioritizing experiences.
Yeah.
But I want to circle back to minimalism for a second
Okay.
because both Crazy Old Gringo
Yeah.
and the Buy Now documentary talked about this idea of like decluttering your life.
Yeah. Getting rid of the excess.
But it can feel kind of overwhelming.
It can be. Yeah, it's a big task.
Like, where do I even begin?
Well, the key is to start small.
Okay.
Like, don't try to do everything at once.
Okay.
Just pick one area of your home,
Okay.
like a drawer or a shelf or a closet,
Okay.
and just start there.
Okay.
Get rid of anything you don't use,
Okay.
don't love, or don't need.
Okay, so just like a little bit at a time.
Yeah, baby steps.
Baby steps. Okay.
You don't have to do it all at once.
And then maybe it'll like create this ripple effect
It usually does, yeah.
where I'll want to declutter other areas.
Yeah, once you start seeing the benefits
Yeah.
of having less stuff,
Yeah.
it's kind of contagious.
Okay. And it's not about deprivation.
Right. It's not about being miserable. It's about surrounding yourself
Mm-hmm.
with things that you actually love.
So it's like quality over quantity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Fewer things, but better things.
Things that bring you joy.
Okay. And maybe as I'm decluttering, I'll like rediscover things that I forgot about,
Oh, yeah. That happens all the time.
like a hobby or something.
Yeah. Or you might just enjoy the simplicity
Yeah.
of having less clutter.
So it's like creating space.
Yeah, creating space for new possibilities.
I like that.
Yeah, both physically and mentally.
And I think that that's a good way to think about this whole journey of breaking free from consumerism.
It's not about giving things up.
Yeah.
It's about gaining something better.
So it's about freedom,
Freedom.
clarity,
Purpose.
purpose, and connection.
Yeah, connection to yourself
Uh-huh.
and to the world around you.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's like the one message you want our listeners to take away?
Well, I think the most important thing is that you have a choice.
Okay.
You can choose to be a conscious consumer.
Okay.
You can choose to break free from this consumerist trap.
Yeah.
And you can choose to create a life
Uh-huh.
that's full of meaning and purpose.
Not just stuff.
Not just stuff. Yeah, it takes effort,
It does.
but it's so worth it.
Okay, so it's about reclaiming my agency,
Yeah, reclaiming your attention,
my attention, my value,
your values, yeah.
and knowing that every choice I make matters.
Every choice matters, even the small ones.
Okay, and I don't have to do it alone, right?
You don't have to do it alone. There's a whole community of people who are on this journey with you.
Okay, so reach out, connect, support each other.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope you've learned some new things and that you feel inspired
I hope so too.
to take action. And remember, every step you take towards mindful consumption is a step towards a better world.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Bye, everyone.